Hi, my loves. How are you today? I have a really cute book to read today. It's called The Mice and the Clockwork Bus. And I have the camera turned around different today because the pictures are so cute in here. I wanted to make sure that you could see them. Take a quick look at this one on the cover here before we open up. This book, I think, is the second book in a two-book series. I think there's a book called The Mice Who Live in a Shoe, but I don't have that one. I'm going to try and see if I can find it. But we'll read this one today. It's The Mice and the Clockwork Bus. As usual, I love the pictures. This is a storybook. I don't even think that your parents know this one, even though it was probably written about the time they were children. But anyway, here's a picture of the mice carrying a clock. Wait till you see. Look at this. Can you see this? Look what it's made out of. Can you see the different parts of it and figure out what everything is? Isn't that cool? Okay, so here we go. It says, D-Rat, the junk merchant, ran the only bus service for miles. His bicycle bus was made out of a roller skate and a spool from his very own junkyard. And there he is. See the parts of it? It's really funny. Okay. Everyone called it the rattle trap because it was dangerous and overcrowded. Each day, the passengers clamored aboard to get to school and work, and each day someone fell off and had to walk the rest of the way. And there's a little one fell off right there. Eek! Rotten bus service. And the rat says, stop your squeaking. Look down here. Little girl rat right there says, I am not pushing. Look at this. Everybody push. When the rattle trap reached a hill, everyone had to get off and push. Only D-Rat remained seated, counting his money from the fares, and of course, everybody was always late for work, even the judge. D-Rat was a terrible driver, too. One day, the bus tipped over going around a corner, and all the passengers were spilled out into the hedge. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt. Here's the judge. Oh, I see now. The judge is saying, dangerous driver. Everybody's dumped out on the ground. Wobbly mice, says D-Rat. That evening, the mice who lived in a shoe decided to do something about the rattle trap. We take our lives in our paws every time we ride in it, said Pa, and then everybody talked at once. I tore my dress, said Sue. Mick fell off again, said Anne. It's just not safe for grannies, said Grandma. I had to walk. I didn't push. It's too crowded to knit, says Ma. They talked deep into the night until suddenly Pip had an idea. Why don't we build our own bus, he said. What a wonderful plan, said the family. Where do we begin? In D-Rat's junkyard, said Pip. There's a picture of their shoe house. Isn't that cool? Okay. So the next morning they went to D-Rat and asked if they could buy a few things from his junkyard. D-Rat, who never trusted his own left paw, let alone mice, pointed to a pile of rubbish. Choose from that lot, he snarled. And there he is, being grumpy with mice. Look at the cool things, though, he has on the wall, hooked up on the wall, that he collected from his junk. Kind of fun things there, huh? Oh, they picked through the rubbish and they found just what they needed. This is a Sophia Toppy. It's ticking. It's a sun helmet. Eek! There they are, looking through all the junk. Down here. This will make the chassis. They needed a lock. And they needed a clock. This will be our motor. And they needed an explorer's hat. This should keep us dry. It's a pith helmet. What do we need these for? Well, for the wheels, silly. And they needed 4 pulleys. There they are, getting all their bits and pieces together. Then the mice set to work. First, they attached the 4 pulleys with rope tires to the corners of the lock, and they hammered in 4 pillars. Okay, there's the old lock that they took, the wheels, and then they're putting in 4 pillars. With much puffing and blowing, they managed to haul up the clock and put it in position. Here's the clock right in the middle. Then they then they strapped the clock to the key in the lock, and they built a spiral staircase. Pa removed the balance wheel, and he wound up the clock. Whoa, it's stiff. Do you need help, Pa? The motor roared, the hands whizzed around, and Grandpa attached the drive belt to the wheels. It's looking pretty good. The hardest job was to lift the hat over the spiral staircase and onto the 4 pillars. But they managed. They are trying to get it up there. Everybody's helping. They're working up. Ma is not helping. Ma is knitting. Okay, even the baby is helping. The baby up there on the top. They built a stairway up the side of the hat with a door at the top, and then they put in windows around the middle and made a balcony to keep the passengers from falling off. I need your needles, Ma. No, they're not for poking holes. Look there. There's the balcony. Well, this is safe. That's Grandma there. And there's the little ones putting in the windows. Okay. Boy, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? The driver's seat was on the top deck with seats all around, shaded by a huge umbrella. Grandma says, I'll drive. One of the little ones says, I can see for miles. Pa, down here at the bottom, says, we need some steps. Look at this thing. It's definitely more exciting than the one the rat has, isn't it? The controls went down past the playroom windows, through the brim, and into the engine. Okay. There it goes. At last, all that remained to build were steps to the lower deck and a rope ladder to the brim, and the clockwork bus was finished. Wait till D-Rat sees this. We're ready to go. What a clever family. Here it is. Can you see it? I would go for a ride on that. I think that's very cool. Everyone came to admire the clockwork bus, except for D-Rat. who was out gathering junk. Everyone got a free ride on the first day. Pa wound the motor with some help from Pip. Grandma climbed into the driver's seat, and off they went. Everyone cheered. Here's everybody getting a free ride. It's free today. Yay! Look at all the mice. Goodness sakes, there's Grandma up there at the wheel and all the little ones in the windows and around the deck. Goodness. Here's everybody out here waiting for their turn for a ride. When D-Rat arrived in his rattletrap, he saw his passengers all happily seated on the bus. Here he comes. Oh, he's shaking his fist at them. There he is. With Grandma driving, nobody fell off as the bus easily climbed the hill. D-Rat was furious. Look at that, going right up that hill. Nobody out pushing. I'll fix them, shouted D-Rat, and he dug a big hole for the bus to fall into, and then he disguised the trap with twigs and leaves and waited for the clockwork bus to return. There he is with his hole. At last he heard it coming around, and he hopped onto a twig to watch. And then crash! He fell in the hole. As the bus came by, everybody laughed and cheered to see D-Rat's head poking out of the hole. Where is he? Let's see if we... Oh, there he is. Everybody laughed and cheered. Crabby old rat. Yeah. Oops. Too many pages. The next day, D-Rat had a new idea. He blocked the narrow road with his junk. That would stop the bus. Well, it did. And so the passengers got off and cleared it. Unhappily for D-Rat, the junk rolled and bounced downhill onto the rattletrap, which was smashed into little pieces. Oh, dear. Okay. Everybody's going to help get the junk out of the way. There it goes. Down the hill, down the hill, down the hill. Oh, no! You ruined my bicycle bus. Now that D-Rat had no bus, he was even more determined that the mice should not have one either. As he watched Pip winding the bus, he had yet another idea. I will steal their key. That's the plan, he said with a chuckle. It's kind of keeping an eye out and watching what everybody's doing. There he is. See him sneaking around down there? Okay, got it all wound up. So that night, he crept towards the clockwork bus. Stealthily, he removed the key. An instant too late, an alert watch mouse squirted a fire extinguisher at D-Rat, who escaped into the night like a soapy phantom. It's got the key, though. Okay, there's the watchman with the fire extinguisher. Headed off. Okay, let's see what happens. The next morning, the watchman told the mice who lived in a shoe that their key had been stolen by someone very large and covered in sticky foam. Oh, boy. The mice didn't have to guess too hard who the thief might be, and anyway, Mick was already following the sticky, foamy footprints. There we go. Looks rather ratty to me. Okay, looking for clues. They followed the footprints to the junkyard, and there was a sticky D-Rat hiding in a mug amidst the ruins of his rattletrap, clutching their key. Caught you, said Pa. We'll see what the judge has to say about this. The prisoner was brought before the judge, who was one of the passengers. 3 years of hard work, commanded the judge, and since you're so fond of keys, you can be the clock winder on the clockwork bus. I won't, said D-Rat. 4 years, said the judge. And so the mice who lived in a shoe ran the only bus service for miles. Their clockwork bus has cheap seats for all. No one falls off, and everyone gets to work on time, as long as D-Rat keeps winding the clock. And even though they have to put up with him, he's kept too busy to talk. And off they go. Off they go. Pretty cute story, huh? Here's another picture on the back. Okay, and here is the mice who lived in a shoe. I'll have to see if I can find that one. And here is the mice and the flying basket. Ooh, that looks like an airplane, doesn't it? And here is the Kettle Ship Pirates. All by the same author. I'll have to see if I can find any of the rest of them. There's a nice picture right there. All right, sweethearts. I love you. Bye-bye.